He probably did like 15 different things already, and it's 11 o'clock.
No, I haven't done dick. I haven't done dick. I got up, I had breakfast, I fucking went to the park for a walk. Today's
You
my
look
off.
great, man.
We're all in the same boat. We did dick.
I did dick today.
How are you, John?
Good. I don't smoke till nighttime, so yeah, I'm just here for fucking guy.
Well, Joey, this Karen and Pat.
Nice to meet you guys.
They produced the podcast with me. I couldn't do this without these two guys here, so they're really psyched that you're on today.
It's a fucking nightmare doing these things like this. You never know what you're gonna get, and the guy that helps me lives in Philly.
Oh.
So he can only come like twice a week, and he can't make it here till 2 because he's got kids too. So I'm in a pinch there also, you know.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank God we got Pat. He takes care of our technicalities.
All right.
He's all over it.
I try.
Patty Wise.
I'm with you on the night smoking though. I can't smoke during the day. I'm fucking useless.
No, I'm useless.
No, I used to be able to smoke all fucking day. I could get up at 7 and smoke, but now there's too much going on. You know, I'm around parents and, you know, it's just too much. I can't smoke in the house. I used to smoke in my office, you know. I can't smoke in the house. She gets back at 3 today, thank God.
You look great, man.
Thank you. So do you.
You look great.
We're just trying to work out and stay healthy and drink water. And that's it, you know.
Hydrate.
And you're only on 75 milligrams now, right?
That's
all it takes?
Wait, what? You're down to 75?
From 200, 250. Like,
I take these before I go to bed. They're 25 milligrams.
That's it?
That's it. 25 mils. But they're sleepy time.
It's beautiful. That's the only way. My friends ask me, they're like, how can you, how do you not wake up in the middle of the night, take a piss? I'm like, because I just take 2 huge bowl hits before I go to bed.
This is it right here.
Yeah.
This is the tea of life right here. You put 2 pouches and a cup of fucking hot water.
Oh, yeah.
I throw 3 capsules in there and makes it the Michael Jackson tea.
Michael Jackson.
That's it. It's snappy Nunu time. I finish the tea. I take 2 hits off the pipe outside. I come in. I leave the TV on. I play the guitar for a little while.
Yeah, it's great.
When I feel myself fucking up, I walk upstairs and pass out.
Has the guitar thing always been something, or did you just recently
I
pick it up?
just picked it up in February, March.
Yeah. Stick with it. It's hard, but...
It's hard, but I dig it. I like playing something different. And
you know what it is? It gets me out of the zone. It gets me out of my mind for like...
Yeah, it does. It does. It really does. It's
a good escape.
Yeah.
It's a good escape. You know?
All right, you want to start?
No, we started.
Let's do it.
Forget it.
We started already.
Yeah, we started.
What are we waiting for?
We got Coco Diaz on here. We're doing things a little differently. So, but what I found interesting, Joey, is that you've been doing stand-up for over 25 years. Most comedians, they start out in clubs and stuff. You started in prison.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Tough crowd.
How in that environment did you have like a little clique with you? Did you hang out with a little clique and just...
It was the weirdest thing. The week that I committed the crime, the week that I got in trouble, I was selling Subarus. And a guy that I had a problem with, it was a liner closer store. So I get the customer, talk him into the car, and then he closes them. Him and I had gotten into an argument. And I didn't really dig him. We avoided each other for a few weeks. And out of nowhere one day, he came over to me. And he goes, I know you don't like me, but I got to tell you something. He goes, do you know what I did before this? He goes, I worked in entertainment for 20 years in Las Vegas. He goes, I retired. And I could tell you that you're just as funny as the guys I used to hire. You should really consider it. And I got arrested and stuff. I never thought about it. I never really thought about it. And I got a job in the kitchen as a stock clerk. And I would mess around with everybody in the kitchen. And they would tell me, Cuba, you're funny, Cuba, you're funny. All the brothers would always say, so I hung out with a bunch of Crips. And, you know, there was just this white dude from Philadelphia, Park, and it was just crazy.
Is this state time or federal time?
This is state time now. This is when I got to my
that's hard time.
Yeah, when I got to my destination, it was really a camp. It was minimum security. So just from messing around in the kitchen, like and saying things, one day we would watch movies on Thursday nights, Wednesday nights, but the projector would always fucking go down, like in the middle of the movie. You know, like the film would split in half. I tell you what, man.
Coco!
If you think brothers talking a movie theater, wait till the projector goes down. They go nuts, the brothers. The brothers go crazy in jail, you know. And they would yell, Cuba, get up there, you know, say some words. And I would go up there and we'd goof on this one brother that, you know, was like an orange brother and he had freckles. So all of us would just goof on him, you know, from the stage. And it was just all fun. You know?
It's like that's the quintessential jester.
Oh yeah, it's hard to beat up the funny
You took
guy.
it back to the roots of like where comedy comes from and everything. It's like, yeah, all right, get Coco, get Coco now.
Well, that's how we got by in school. Like, if you didn't want to get bullied, you make him laugh.
You know, it was the craziest thing, and it just became a thing on Thursday nights. Yeah. Like I would go up there and go, all right, calm down. We had a good week. Tonight's movie is PT 109. Jack Kennedy, you know, whatever. I would do like the announcing for the movie. Then the projector would go down and I'd go up there and start talking about, you know, whatever was going on at the prison that week. This idiot tried to escape. Can you believe that? You know, there was this, it was, you know, when you go to prison, it's cliques. It's the bikers, the white supremacists, the Mexicans, you know, the African Americans, then it goes into gangs, you know. When I got locked up 30 years ago, there was really no Latin kings in there. It was basically bikers, a couple of white supremacists, and the rest were African Americans. But I became friends with a couple of Crips.
Did you have the ABs in there?
No, these guys were from, this kid that I was friends with was a dynamite kid. I loved him to death. He was there for like conspiracy to sell like 18 kilos. He had 7 girlfriends. He had 7 kids with 7 different women. God bless. They all lived in like fucking plush houses. He was like a cocaine fucking god for the Crips. So that's who I hung out with primarily. There was a kid from Cleveland, Severino, an Italian guy who would cook. He would cook in there with a fucking iron. He took the heart out of the iron. He would make sauce. He would make nacho cheese. And he also ran a book, like boxes for Monday Night Football. So his reach was limited. I could speak Spanish. I could talk to the brothers. So I became his partner. And I started doing the cards, and he would cook, and we'd sell the food together. He would make meatballs. So you were allowed out 20 minutes a day to go to the store.
Well, you know.
Wait, out
in the world?
Yeah, you could. The store was walking distance from the prison.
Wow.
So you had a 20-minute, if you behaved yourself, every day you could walk to the store.
Did they, would a guard
20 minutes to get there. No, they would just watch you from the hut. You could walk. It was like maybe 90 yards a hut.
Like where my tree house is. Probably.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
From where we are right now.
And they also had a Chinese restaurant, and they couldn't figure out how I would call the Chinese restaurant and tell them to have 2 egg rolls ready, pork fried rice. And when I would walk back into the prison with the fucking Chinese food, they would lose their minds. Like, nobody in the history of this prison has ever figured that out. Call in your order.
When you did the longest yard, I mean, you were like, you're like, I got this all down packed.
I had it down pat. Like it was me. It was exactly what I knew. I knew that life.
You were great in that movie, man. You were really funny.
It was my first big movie. You know, I didn't know what to do, so I just did what everybody was doing around me.
That's why I love talking to Joey. I've been following you for a really, really long time, especially all the things that you and Rogan did and all that. But what I always liked about him is you welcome all these different cultures. When you grew up, you were taken in by this Italian family. You experienced that after your mom. Then as you got older, you were in Colorado, then you went to LA, then the whole stand-up stuff in LA and
Seattle, Boulder,
and I'm
shit
like,
crazy.
and I'm talking to Joey like 2 weeks ago. Hey, Joey, because you are making like this little exodus out of stand-up. Am I correct in saying that?
Well, it's more like a breather.
Okay.
I just want to take a breather.
He needs his own show. And you know what?
Yeah.
I'm fucking old, it's like, I don't want to do it. And I admire Joey because he's so content. You seem so content what you have, where you are. You roll with the punches. I listen to you. I listen to your podcast all the time. I listen to old ones. I listen, you're about your family. You're about your daughter now, taking care of you. You constantly restructuring your schedule around your family. And I admire that, man. I really do.
See that.
I got a second chance, Dom.
Hey.
When you get a second chance, I had a wife, I had a kid, I was a fucking part-time junkie. I wasn't prepared for it at the time, and they got taken away from me. And I thought I was damaged goods for life, when I got into comedy, I got into comedy to drop out, Dom. I didn't get into comedy to become successful. I didn't think I'd ever be in a movie. I thought I couldn't even be good enough to be an extra. I got into comedy because I could have a pager and I could drive around the country and I could do whatever I wanted. I didn't have to wake up in the morning.
Right.
It turned into something else, and I'm very grateful. And it's like that guy said in American Gangster, there's a big difference between quitting and quitting while you're ahead. So I got this second chance. I got this little girl. I got a great wife. I had to look at my life from that perspective. I met Rain prior. I knew Rain prior. And every time I'd see her, I never even thought about kids at that time. I saw the sadness she had. If you went up to Rain prior and go, what would you rather have? The $3 million your dad left you, or for him to spend time with you when he was lighting himself on fire? What do you think she would say, So I write a journal for my daughter every day, about my life, So they go in a box. I try to write for her like Jax Teller on Sons of Anarchy, I want her to know the truth on her terms. I'll tell her everything when she's ready. But right now she's 8. I enjoyed what my mother did with me, but she didn't do me no fucking favors, Don. You shouldn't be in a bar when you're 8 years old. Yeah. Watching people doing blow, talking about getting your balls licked when you're 8. That just doesn't work.
No.
It's cute, but it doesn't work. So I'm trying to give her this completely different. When she's ready, I'll let her know. I'll show her the fucking, the other side of New York City and the whole thing.
But it all, this journal that you're keeping, it will all be there for her.
Yes.
There'll be no mistaking anything. There'll be no outside interference. There'll be no one to murky the waters for you regarding her knowing who her dad is. It's a great idea.
I'm gonna do it tonight.
You're gonna start
write
a
2
journal?
journals. Yeah, I swear to God.
Hey,
that's
man,
the greatest
go do it.
I swear to God,
wish I
that's
had
the
kids.
greatest.
Why not? Why? Let them know everything you're feeling and everything you're going through.
Because I rather them hear it from my words, not
from you.
Somebody else. Yeah.
When my mother died, I heard shit from my uncle that I shouldn't have heard. Yeah. Why is my uncle telling me this? Why didn't she fucking tell me this? So I took that, after I watched Sons of Anarchy, he would always write a journal for his kids of what he wanted and what he didn't want for his kids. And that's where I stole the idea from. So like she started camp yesterday. I wrote in there yesterday she started camp and blah, blah, blah. You know, last week she did CCD with the Catholics, but only till 12. That's why I was
With
fucking.
the Catholics.
You gotta go over there with the Catholics for a week.
How can he use that?
Listen, I got an
Catholics.
8-year-old. All right, I got an 8-year-old girl, and she's in the CCD, and I was like, all right, this is great. You send her there. You know, someone else is telling her, you know, how to at least, you know, be a decent human being other than me. But then COVID hits. Next thing you know, I'm the one on Sunday mornings reading this liturgical book.
You're reading
and
the
I'm
parables.
teaching her about all this shit. I'm like, I didn't sign up to teach this. So,
Which is not a good idea.
I went to Catholic school. I mean, I know
good
all about that stuff.
But they didn't teach them dick. She don't know about the sacrament. I asked her if she wanted it. I took her to church Sunday. I go, you going to genuflect? No, I don't even know what that is. What the fuck?
I know.
They talk about confession? No. What the fuck did they teach over there?
No, nothing.
It was like Catholic light. No sacrament.
Where's the tabernacle?
Yeah, where's the tabernacle? Where's the fucking bell? You know, my mom used to go to, I went to Sacred Heart School for Boys. And there used to be like a bell by the church. And my mom spotted the bell one day and she goes, I'm stealing that bell because it's going to bring me good luck at the Met games. She would go to the Met games with this fucking bell and ring it. Well, guess what? The bell, the Mets got all the way to the fucking Eastern Finals that year against the Reds when Pete Rose beat up Bud Harrelson. There, 1973.
73, yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't fucking make it. So I remember my mom going, take this fucking bell out of here. It's bad luck. It's the kiss of death, this fucking voodoo. I go, they got you all the way to the Eastern Finals, and now you're calling it fucking voodoo. What kind of, you know? And then the nun caught me bringing back the fucking bell that was missing throughout the whole baseball season. What
year did your mom come from Cuba?
Like 52.
Wow.
And then she went back, got an alias, and came back. My mom came here early because my stabbed a guy for raping my aunt.
Wow.
So my mom killed the dude. So they sent her to the United States. She met some Puerto Rican girl, took her identity, went back to Cuba, hooked up with my dad, had my sister, had me, and we got here in 66.
Damn. Crazy.
Wow.
How did you get over here?
Plane, I think. I think. I don't remember Cuba at all. Just being on the beach. I remember
Have you been back?
No.
You could go back though, right?
You can go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a passport.
Okay, but if you're of descent, Cuban descent,
when you get caught with a machine gun, it's tough to get a fucking passport.
they won't let you leave.
That complicates things.
It's like, oh, he's just not getting it. I got to tell him about the machine gun. So, do you remember your comedy or acting or auditions or anything, like any time that you remember bombing? You have like that story of I wish I was under a rock right now.
Listen, I know every bomb. I remember every time I bet a team and they lost. You know, every time you had to pay the bookie, you remember exactly the line, the point spread, how you got beat up. You know, I remember just bombing for a long time, guys. I still remember going home in 94 and crying myself to sleep as a grown man, as a 30-something-year-old man, like, because I wanted it so bad. You know, I wanted to be funny. I wanted to succeed in it. And I didn't know what to do. And it's right in front of you. Just get on stage. Keep getting on stage. Keep putting yourself in bad positions. You see 4 guys in the corner, you show up with a fucking microphone. You know, it's just, I used to go to, I started comedy in Boulder. It's not comedy friendly. Right. So I used to have to go to poetry readings. And I would go up on stage and do a little poetry first. Then I would talk about eating ass and slinging dick. And they would go, get the fuck out of here. There's a poetry.
There's a lot of poetry in slinging dick.
I was watching one of your pods, the podcast you were recently doing, and you were talking about how happy you are that you're in New Jersey now, that you're away from Los Angeles, uh, and not really speaking that fondly about it, of what it's become, and can you elaborate on that a little more? Like, I know you left L.A. during the COVID. You went to New Jersey. You have the kid. You have your daughter there. Basically uprooted and doing everything new there. But what's your feeling about what's going on in L.A. and people going to Texas and
Arizona,
going to all these places like that?
I always knew I wasn't going to raise my daughter there. I always knew that. Okay. When we came back here in 2016 for the holidays at the airport, my wife asked me why we were going back. And I couldn't answer her correctly. I said, it's where my business is, whatever. But then I came back to shoot The Sopranos. And I was here for 3 weeks. And I saw the difference. I felt it on the set. Shooting in New York and shooting in LA is two different animals. Two different animals. Mm-hmm. When you shoot New York, they're there. It's a no-nonsense situation. When you shoot in LA, there's fucking agents and managers and a bunch of jerk-offs on the set that don't fucking belong there. They just don't belong there. They're just there getting a free meal or whatever. It was just time to, I don't know. It just felt, I had an opportunity in Texas, but again, Dom, I've been alone since 1985. I've been out there in the world, and you have your friends, you have your clique, but you're alone, When pandemic came and all that, I was going to come here to finish The Sopranos March 16th and 17th of 2020. The plan was to come March 9th, do Nyack March 11th, and then that weekend, look for a house in Bergen County. That was the plan. Yeah. COVID shut all that down. And COVID hit Bergen County really hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a brother down here. And I used to come down here all the time, and I really liked it. It's just a lot more wilderness. There's deers, there's fucking raccoons, there's coyotes, there's fucking, So I called a friend of mine. His sister-in-law was a realtor, and we ended up here a month later. I had an opportunity to go to Texas, and I miss Rogan and I miss those guys, but it was time to be close to family. It was time to come home. It was just time. When I left here in 85, I left here a fucking maggot. I left here a piece of shit, I felt I could come back and hold my head high. You know what I'm saying? Like I left here a punk, nice. But I came back a man.
Nice.
And, I had to come back and apologize to a few people and get back in, but we're cool. I go up to my hometown once a week. I get a sandwich at the deli. I say hello to a few people and I come right back down. There's been a lot of friends of mine that we grew up together, and hey, we have our own lives now. Everybody's different. So my expectations were a little different. I thought I would see the people I didn't think I'd see, I'm seeing, and the people I thought I'd see, I'm not seeing.
Well, you said something really interesting. You said, well, my phone doesn't ring as much anymore, right?
Yeah.
Now that you're in New York, because no one needs anything. No one, He's right. I hate to say it, I don't know if it's this business. There's always been a part of me that's always felt alone. When you're in your dressing room, before they call you to go on to set, you're alone. You act with people, but there's that moment you're alone. I'm sure there's that moment when you're on stage, or you get on stage and you're about to rock a crowd, you're alone. I always regretted not moving to Los Angeles. I used to see all the people I would come up with in the business move to Los Angeles. Karen, I think you moved to Los Angeles, right?
I did the same thing he did. Wife got pregnant and I bounced.
Yeah. And I always regretted it. I never could bring myself to be that far away from my family.
Yeah.
And so I never did. So anytime I went to Los Angeles or anytime I was in a city, if you ever saw me in a city and I was working, I was only there because I was doing a gig. Home has always been here.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh, maybe if I was out there, maybe I would have been around more people. I would have been, now I'm going back to my 20s when I was going out. Maybe I would have been in certain circles.
Yeah.
Who knows what that would have done for me.
It's true.
But you got to look forward, You can't, there's certain things I look in the rearview mirror for, the good times, the memories. But as far as my career, it's just moving forward.
Could only connect the dots looking backwards.
Yeah.
I find
it was
I
easy.
know what it means.
It was easy for me because I didn't have a mom and a dad.
Yeah.
If I would have had a mom, I would have still been living in the fucking basement. You know me, dog. I ain't going nowhere. I tell everybody, if your mom's still alive, go move back in with her. I don't give a fuck if she's a pain in the ass, because when she's gone, you're going to feel it, cocksuckers.
Yeah.
So you better hang out with mom and dad as much as you can, especially now. It's tough out there right now. So that was easy for me, Dom. When I left New York in 1985. New York was on fire. It was a different fucking city. It was tremendous. It was fun. I went to see Prince and Sheena E. and Nucleus for $15 at the Ritz. It was a different city. I would go to a Knick game whenever I wanted. I would just get on the fucking bus, go to boom, you're at the Knick game. I'm on a $1.35, copping bags of weed. I'm on 181st, getting fucking cute. I would take the bus over, get a bag of reefer, and go to the movies on 181st and Broadway right there. Saw The Last Dragon. I saw Rambo 2. The city was my life. I left here in the heat of it because I knew that I would end up dead here. It was too exciting. You could go into the city at 4 and buy an Uzi.
Anytime.
In 1985. You go into the city. I remember going right off the George Washington Bridge. There's a parking garage. You just pull in there and they take you to the 12th floor, and there's a casino there, and there's hookers and there's coke and there's playing cards. The city was too wild. It was too open. I would have never made it. I would have died.
Yeah, people wouldn't recognize the city in '85.
Now,
people, yeah,
it's different.
It's completely different.
Night and day.
Too wild. 85.
Yeah, it's
It was. I left here when it was rough to leave here, but I knew that I wouldn't fucking make it. And then I came back in '93, did comedy for about 9 months in the city, and that was rough. I lived with a friend of mine, and I sold cars on 12th Avenue, and then at night I would fucking go out and do comedy.
What was the state of comedy in the '80s?
Well, I got into it in '91, and it was on the
big boom, right? '90s was a
it was. Comedy Central had just started.
Right.
Comedy Central opened up like June of '91. I got on stage July 16th of '91. I forget who was big then. Like, I forget who the big guys were. It was like Anthony Clark and Steve McGrew, and Roseanne had just blown up.
Was Patrice around?
Patrice was around, but he was in New York.
Okay.
I started in Denver.
Okay.
I started in Denver, Boulder area, and then I came back here in '93, and I just did like the New York Comedy Club, and I would just do bar shows. And then once I figured out how I wanted to do, what made me figure out was I went to a bar called the Old Triple Inn, and I saw John Leguizamo on stage at 2 a.m. playing to 8 people, but in his mind, he was in the garden. I was like blown away. Like, this motherfucker's doing a show for 8 people, and he's up there putting his heart into it. He thinks he's at the garden. So once I had that down, I went back to Colorado and I really worked on my craft. I really got on stage every night. I learned how to do it. And it was a struggle. And then I ended up in Seattle. Somebody said the scene was better in Seattle. So I went to Seattle and I got up there. That's where I met Josh Wolf and Brody Stevens and all those guys. Rest in peace.
Mm.
And then I was doing a show the night before Thanksgiving in Seattle. And a guy from CBS was booking a pilot. I was never going to go to LA. I had been to LA 1,000 times. I got an uncle there. I didn't like it. I never liked LA. There was no way to get around. I tried to go there in 84. My uncle said he would give me a job in the Olympics. You know, the phone company was hiring, but you couldn't make it happen without a car in LA. So I didn't like it.
Can't get
So
around.
when I went to LA, it was just for a few months. It was going to be for a few months. I was going to shoot this pilot for CBS. And then I was going to go back to Colorado and work for a sports betting service. That was the plan. It didn't work out. Everything worked. The pilot didn't get picked up, but I ended up shooting a commercial for Taco Bell. It was the first one with the dog.
Yes.
No,
No kiddo.
That's a big commercial.
it was a huge
One
commercial.
door closes, another one opens,
There you go.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's funny you say that you saw John Leguizamo play to 8 people like he was in the Garden, because I think Sebastian said the same thing.
Yeah.
We had Sebastian on a couple of weeks ago, and he said the same thing. He goes, whether it was 8 people, 800 people, 8,000 people, he hit it the same.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You got to put 110% no matter what. Yeah.
I remember being down there a lot of nights with Sebastian. I still remember when The Sopranos got hot. Bill Maher was on Politically Incorrect on ABC, and he had Mob Week, and they were looking for 3 guys to do sketches. And I went down there to audition, and I saw Sebastian hanging out with some dudes that couldn't book a fucking headshot. You know what I'm saying? You know, those guys, you know, those Italians, Gino, and
Yeah.
they can't book a headshot. Saying like, so I grabbed Sebastian. He was very quiet then, very quiet. I grabbed Sebastian and took him in there, and I go, just follow my lead. And him and I ended up booking it.
Wow.
I'll never forget Bill Maher, the assistant, came up to us and said, whatever you do, don't shake Bill Maher's hand and don't make eye contact with him.
Really?
What do you think? The first thing I did, I shook that motherfucker's hand. And I
Why,
looked
though,
him in
Joey?
the eye.
Why?
Because that's the way people are, dog. I don't know. I don't ask questions. Don't look him in the eye and shake his hand. That's the first fucking thing I did.
That's awesome.
That's fucking weird, man.
See, I like watching, like, you catch Joey pops up all over the place. You never know, whenever you're watching, you never know when he's just going to pop up and be on TV. And
Yeah.
I loved it because, you know, I worked with, like, Bert Kreischer back in the day. And when I saw you on The Cabin, you popped up in The Cabin, I was like, oh, man, things are going to go sideways pretty fast. They had a guy there hand rolling the fat Godfather blunts for. Oh man, it looked like a magical experience. How long were you in The Cabin for?
The Cabin.
5 hours, 6 hours. We were there like
weeks.
we were there from like 3 to like 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Nice. And how many times did you see Bert's penis in that time span?
I don't think any.
I lived with him for 3 days once, and I think he whipped it out like 30 times in 3 days. I don't know, he just likes running around naked. It's very
Yeah,
odd.
he does. Yes, he does. I don't look. I don't look. That makes you a half a Finoke. You can't look.
All right, we're gonna throw Joey some questions, and then I wanna get into something after that. So Joey, what's one of your biggest pet peeves?
I don't know. I got a lot of them. I don't know. I got a lot of triggers. Biggest pet peeve: people who keep up with the Joneses. I like people who beat to their own fucking drum. You know,
Amen.
Amen.
I don't like, that's why I didn't like LA. I know the podcast you were talking about. It was frustrating when you're not. Here's the deal. I wasn't in the circle, but at the end of the day, I didn't really want to be in the circle. Do you know what I'm saying? So I couldn't be mad about whatever. When I got into this, it was to just be, for me to be better. It wasn't for me to be a show off, for me to just do certain things. I didn't like my behavior in LA. I didn't like a lot of things, but I think my biggest pet peeve is just, people who just try to, like, you ever go to a premiere and there's somebody there that wasn't in the movie and you're like, why are you here?
Yeah. I have to be here. I don't even want to be here.
Why are you here? I don't want to be here.
You're like me, man.
No, I'm networking. What the fuck are you talking about? You network on stage. You network when you're on the fucking screen. That's when you fucking network. Just because I got to go to a bar and drink with a bunch of people I don't like and make believe I like them, I'm not doing that. I would never fucking do that. I don't want to do that,
Yeah, it's not my thing. It's not my thing.
No, it's not my thing.
No.
I don't like when people ask themselves questions and answer them. Like, am I happy with the decisions I've made? Yes. Could I have lived my life a little differently? Maybe. Yeah. I fucking hate Sorry.
Too many
wow, that's right.
It gets me. Someone did it to me the other day, and I'm just like, how many questions are you going to ask yourself in a row before I can just fucking walk away? Sorry.
I don't like people who speak in the third person.
Not big fucking question guy. Like, when people ask you a lot of questions and shit, it drives me fucking. What's with the fucking questions? Enough. Yeah. What it is.
Welcome to the hot seat.
Welcome to the hot seat. Sorry, Joey.
Well, you can only ask him 2 more questions.
That's it.
Oh, no, I don't mind.
Cut it.
When people come up to you and ask you questions, you don't fucking know the answers. I'm barely walking around. Like, I'm making it just walking around. I don't know where the fuck this is.
Step by step.
When people give you directions, like if next time you go to Brooklyn, stop by this place here on 77. I don't fucking know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like I'll remember anyway.
30 fucking years. I need a guide dog if I go to Brooklyn.
But I got to tell you, I used to like how people back in the day gave directions.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to see a gas station. It's going to be on your left. Okay. Not that gas station. The one after it. Then make a right.
Go to Ireland and get directions in Ireland.
Oh, you told me about
directions in Ireland. Well, you want to go up about 2 more roundabouts and then inquire further. It's like, you're telling me to go ask someone else for directions.
And inquire further.
Walk 2 blocks. Call me when you get there.
Call me when you get there.
You're up on a karaoke stage. What song are you singing?
Whole Lot of Love.
Yeah.
Get the lead out, motherfuckers.
Get the lead out.
But it's crazy, Dom. Again, when I first got into comedy, there wasn't a lot of comedy rooms. So I would have to go to a karaoke bar, put in like Journey, and then go up there. They'd put on Don't Stop Believing, and I'd grab the mic and start fucking doing comedy. They got karaoke.
That's a great idea.
Oh, that's great.
I really want to ask you this question because of the life you lived, and everything you've been through, which we have. Shit, there's a lot of stuff we haven't even touched on regarding Joey. But if you could go back in time and give yourself a piece of advice, how old are you, and what's that piece of advice?
I would be 18. I see fucking kids today, and it breaks my heart. The reason I did the podcast was not to show you that I'm better than you or that I'm funnier than you, is to let you know that no matter what's happened in your life, you could bounce back. I still remember the day the attorney called me and he goes, the first deal is 9 years and you're getting kidnapping too. And I remember how I felt. I'm 25 years old and I'm about to do 9 fucking years. That means I'm going to get out of here when I'm 34 fucking years old. You know, I think at 18, I was always in a rush. I was in a rush and I was worried about what I didn't have. You know, if I was 18 again, I'd tell myself to relax, enjoy the journey, and to take life as it comes. You know, you can't. I was really fucking beating myself. I beat myself up naturally. I'm one of those guys that, you know, not like I beat myself up mentally. Like I want perfection. You know, when you're on stage, I want it to be right. You know, just to be, you could always bounce back in this life. There's one person I want to beat the fuck out of. That's my guidance counselor from high school. They ruin more fucking lives than anything, guidance counselors. You're not prepared to make a life decision at 18.
No way.
No.
Go to work for a year or two and then go to college and see what you really want to fucking do. Society puts all this pressure on you when you're 20 and 21 that it fucks you up for life. It PTSDs you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to go to college. So I got out of prison. I get married, I have a kid, and I sign up for college. And one day I find myself and I go, okay, this is the life I want. And now what do I do with it? So now I'm going to go get a job and get a gold watch when I'm 65. I got Saturdays and Sundays off. That's it. This is it. There's got to be something better. And that's what made me go into comedy. It was going to be a new adventure every day. You know, I wanted a new adventure every day. I thought about moving back to New York and working at the stock market.
Oh.
And I'm like, do I really want to get on a fucking bus with my brown lunch every day and a train and do all that stuff? No. So if I was 18, I could just tell myself to be patient, be happy, and have a great fucking time. I took life too seriously when I was young.
Probably hard on yourself too. Yeah.
Yes, very hard.
Karen,
Pat?
you got a question?
There's is there a scene from a movie that scarred you as a child?
Death Wish, the rape scene.
Oh, the first one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's hard.
Brutal.
Hard. Brutal.
Brutal. And to watch it when you're 10 and to know that
God.
your mother,
And
your
the
mother,
funeral scene.
yes, your mother is behind the bar working. Like I watched Death Wish on, Times Square with my godfather at the age of 10. And I still remember that rape scene. And like I go, that could be my mother.
Yeah.
So if somebody ever comes to you and says, Joey put a gun to my head, it could happen. If somebody comes to you and says, Joey robbed me, Joey hit me, it could happen. But if somebody says to you, Joey raped me, that would never happen.
No.
Because that scene hit me that hard as a young man. It made me treat women differently. It opened up my eyes to what could happen to a woman.
Yeah.
That's why I love jiu-jitsu for women.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I love women to get into jiu-jitsu because in 20 years, you're going to see a bunch of people walk around with fucked up elbows from them breaking their fucking arms off.
Good.
Good. And that's what I want for women, so they never, ever fucking get raped. That scene is true.
Yeah.
See, I love that. That's why I like asking that question, because it's amazing how long something like that will stay with you and stay fresh in your mind.
You don't
like
forget something
you
like
see
that.
something like that in a film and that sticks with you. It's crazy how long. I mean, you probably saw that in 82, 83?
73.
73.
No. The first Death Wish. Yeah.
first Death Wish,
I remember watching. I was born in 76. I remember watching in the 80s, and it was already, all the other stupid Death Wishes came out.
Oh, yeah.
But if you watch the original, even the funeral scene where he's talking to the father-in-law, I think, right?
Yes.
Shot. It's dark. It's cold.
Yeah.
Like you watch it, you can even feel the cold come from the screen.
Yeah.
It's like a winter day, right? A winter afternoon, a winter evening. I can't remember a winter morning, but you could feel it.
Yeah.
I know exactly what he's talking about. Yeah.
How about you? You got one of those scene from a movie stuck with you?
I have a lot of them.
Mine was
I'm a big movie buff like Joey. I gravitate to a lot of movies that were made in the 70s.
What? How about something that just scared the shit out of you when you were a kid, or it was
Oh my God.
something you saw and you shouldn't have seen?
the first time I saw Poltergeist and the clown, that
Oh,
fucking clown.
okay.
Oh
It's not a
my
scene.
God.
It's not a scene. It's not a scene. It's a score. The Omen.
Oh yeah,
that
geez.
fucking
The first
Damien
Omen.
kid.
Disturbing.
The dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That
Hated that
when
movie.
I hear that, and every time I hear Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
Yeah.
I always think of Halloween.
You're 8 years old again.
Yeah.
Instantly. Yeah.
It's that stupid shit
not
like that.
Stupid
but,
shit.
For me, it was The Shining, when that old decrepit lady gets out of the tub and starts coming at. Oh my god!
Oh, you didn't think she was hot?
Yeah.
No, she was
She
hot.
was
I was
hot.
gonna say, when she was hot, it was good. But then all of a sudden, her skin was falling off. That shit stuck with me. I still remember sneaking my head into the room while that was going on. I was probably 7 or 8. And
Kira was like, "Oh, this is getting good."
That's-
Whoa!
That's when horror movies like there was a story behind it.
yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't just gore.
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Let me tell you how old I am. Right around The Exorcist came out. Like when The Exorcist came out, I saw it in the movie theater. I was a big time Catholic. You know, I worked a bingo for fucking Saint Sacred Heart. You know,
He was hardcore Catholic.
yeah, you worked the bingo.
I was hardcore. I was robbing that bingo fucking every. I was walking out of there with 40, 50 bucks. My mom's like, "How are you buying these GI Joes? Don't worry about it. Bingo's a good living." But there was a movie that came out, and I can't remember what the name of it is. I've asked 1,000 people, nobody remembers. After The Exorcist came out, a movie came out that they actually gave you a vomit bag.
Oh,
Ask your parents, ask one of your uncles that's a little older than me. Like,
It's not Phantasm, is it?
no, there was a horror movie that
Faces
was
of Death.
so bad.
Faces of
No,
Death.
it wasn't Faces of Death. It was like a something to do with Satan. It was so bad that they gave you a puke bag on the way in.
Oh, yeah.
And then the movie got yanked in the movie theaters. I must have been 10, 9, 11, around there. The Devil's Lair, the Devil's something. It was just fucking awful.
It's not the Hills Have Eyes.
I wouldn't go see it. No, I wouldn't go.
No, terrible.
Yeah, there was all those horror movies. Like then they got really stupid.
They always
But,
get fucking stupid.
But like, watch Amityville.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
ahead, go watch Amityville again. It still holds up.
Yeah,
Still holds up.
Watch the
the actor was
Watch-
so good. Who
Oh,
played
wow.
the dad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Watch that movie again, and watch when he's chopping the wood, and his business partner is trying to talk to him. Hey man, come on, you got to come back. You got to come back to work. How chilling it is, the look that he gives him
Yeah,
Yeah,
after he's chopping the wood, and he looks at him.
yeah.
it's amazing.
That movie's amazing.
Hey man, yeah,
There was a lot of
great
movies with-
directors back then. Yeah,
Great director.
great. Like if you read, The Exorcist, the scene. If you read William Friedkin's book, you see that that the priest is having that scene, and he just comes out. He comes out and he smacks him.
Yes.
Cold hand smacks him. And the actor, God forgive me, I can't remember his name. Livid. But he got. You can't do that shit. To me.
No.
You can't do
Can't
that.
hit anybody.
Yeah.
Hit me. I look. I'm a sponge, man. When I get on a set or something, I that's one person who I put all my trust into. You know.
And you like to be slapped around a little bit.
I would love to work with those. I wish I could work with some of those directors, man, during that time. You know.
Friedkin, guy from the French Connection. There were some great directors. I just watched a couple scenes from the Cincinnati Kid last night.
Ah,
Steve McQueen, whoever
Steve
directed
McQueen.
that.
Never said anything,
No,
right?
no, it was less was more.
Less was
Less was
Yeah.
more.
talk with his face. People don't
Fuck it.
really. People thought he was just a pretty face. He spoke so many words by just
by
looking
looks.
at you. That's how that's what his genius was. You know,
Yeah.
Other than the good looks and everything. Very few people do that.
He was a fucking savage, McQueen.
Man.
Just a savage.
Joe, you still doing jiu-jitsu yourself? You're practicing?
No, I redid my knee, so
Oh, that's
jiu-jitsu's out. I got
you're like
a knee, so
Shout out to our buddy John Rollo.
yes.
temporarily, or are you gonna get back?
You know, I would if I get back, I'm gonna do it with like a bunch of old guys.
Mm.
Like in LA, there was an executive class at
Oh,
7 a.m.
Idea.
Sounds like a show
bring-
to me.
and it was 6 or 7 guys that were over 45.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different type of workout. It's more drilling, and then towards the week you roll more, so you don't get beat up as much. You know,
How about
more close guard stuff. You know, so yeah, I'll get into it, but I need to meet some guys that are our
Yeah.
age.
You can't like go crazy on it. Yeah.
Joe.
It's tough to be, 50 and go to jiu-jitsu with kids that are 28. You have fun. They keep you young.
No.
But it doesn't do great for your esteem. Like you're not gonna beat them. They're too quick.
No way.
And forget about no gi. With the gi, I can hold on to your neck for an hour and breathe at least and get on top of you. No gi is constant. You're constantly
Slippery.
fucking moving.
Slippery
So
situation.
Wow.
I think we have a movie here.
Yeah. Joey and a bunch of old guys doing jujitsu.
Yeah.
it's
That's
great. It really is great. You sweat your ass off. You learn shit, but you got to do it with people who love you. You got to do it with people, especially our age. I can't. I pull on Dom's arm and he can't work for 8 weeks. What good is fucking jujitsu?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you got to do it with people who love you, people who are into you, people who are going to stop and go, is that too much? Let's do this right. We're doing this as fun. So
Yeah, that's why I like boxing at Contenders with Rob, because he knows. He knows when to hold back. He knows when to go. I sparred 6 rounds yesterday, and he never overdoes it. It's I don't know how it is in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and all that, but when you're boxing, sometimes when you're sparring with people and you get a good one in, they come back with you three times fold. They really want to hurt you.
They put you back in your place.
Yeah, and that's why you have to be very careful who you're doing it with. You know, you have the Saints of Newark coming out. I think that comes out in October, right?
yes, sir.
Wow.
How was that experience?
It was
A lot of
possibly
hype.
the best experience I've ever had on the set, but I also gave it my all. I was also, usually when you do as a comic, I didn't know anything about movies. I took a couple acting classes. I got the movie Basketball. It was a joke to me, like I like those guys, but it was like when you come from the comedy side into acting, you look at it differently. And then I think by the time I did The Longest Yard was when I got really serious about acting.
Yeah.
I really wanted to yearn and learn more. I always loved good acting. I love watching good acting. I know when I'm watching something really good. And when I got The Sopranos, I almost didn't take it. Tom Papa had to talk me into it. In fact, I called him when I saw the trailer and thanked him for talking me into it. But I said, if I take this movie, I'm going to do it 100%. I'm going to be a gentleman. I'm not going to give anybody a hard time. And that's exactly what I did. And I learned from David Chase. I learned that style of comedy that he has. The fucking scene when they do the intervention is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life in The Soprano. So that's what life is all about, is taking something dark and making it funny. you know?
Wow.
That's an art.
So that's an art. So I learned as a comic how to be funny with using air. David Chang uses a lot of air to be funny. It's a joke and then air. Let you absorb it. That's the way a joke is supposed to be written.
It's an earned
We
pause.
forgot over time, you know, we forgot. So I had to relearn that. It was a great experience. It was a different type of comedy, to be honest with you. You know, you think you know all the comedy. You think you know everything. After 28 years, 27 years. And I relearned comedy from him. He has a different way. It comes from a different place.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting, and I'm happy I did
I
it.
can't wait to see it, man.
Yeah.
When's it come out?
I'm really stoked to see it.
October 1st.
October 1st. Okay.
October 1st.
I can't wait.
What are you watching now, Joey? Anything on the tube?
You know, we've done this pandemic, and we've watched fucking everything.
Oh, yeah.
During this pandemic, we watched everything and then some. The only thing that has not aired, and I'm furious about, is Apocalypse Now. I've seen Moneyball 80 times. I've seen Death Wish was on. Death Hunt was on. I watched Valley Girl the other night when he was still Nicholas Coppola. You know, I've
When he was still
Did you watch Into the Darkness?
no.
That's the making of Apocalypse Now. It was Coppola's wife was documenting the whole experience when they were on that island and the whole thing with Brando and the heart attack and like fucking nothing was going right.
Yeah.
Nothing. And she had all this documented. It's called Into the Darkness. I
That's worth
recommend
watch.
if
Yeah.
there's I recommend you watch that.
Yeah.
All right,
Call
then
me,
I'll watch.
Joey. Call me after it.
Yeah.
We'll because big movie buff, so
And when
you
you're-
would appreciate that movie big time.
Okay.
And when you're done with that, watch the behind-the-scenes documentary on Caddyshack. I very much recommend.
Okay.
They got all these young people just living. You know, all these young people living on the golf course where they're filming the movie, and they're all just partying their balls off every night. And then poor Ted Knight is in the middle of it, yelling at everybody for not being professional. You know,
Yeah.
How about a Fresca? And Bill Murray and Chevy Chase hating each other, and they didn't want to be in the scene with each other.
I didn't
or talk
know
to
that.
Each other. It was
I
fucking
didn't know
amazing.
that.
Then
Yeah,
they
it's a good-
forced
I didn't
them
know
into a
that.
scene, and that scene when he's in there, you know,
Did
tell me about it,
anybody
tell me
like
about it.
Chevy Chase?
That's all. That was last minute improv, and then they forced them in a scene together. It was hysterical.
Wow.
Bill Murray and Chevy.
Joey, thank you so much. I know
Thank you.
I know you got a schedule. I know you got to keep a schedule. But
No, I'm good, man. But I love you guys, and I didn't want you to think I was throwing you to the wolves. It's just been, in fact, my wife is in the garage putting fucking stickers on boxes right now
Oh, God.
because UPS is coming Friday to pick up more cups because we're sending them out for Patreon. So
nice.
Awesome.
Wow.
Very
that's
cool.
our life right now. So I thank you for appreciating. Thank you for having me on.
And
We
the
love
name
you,
and the
Joey.
name of your
Thank you.
podcast is
The joint,
Joey's Joint.
and I got a fucking strain of reefer coming out in July 16th.
Oh, quick question before you leave.
So follow at Laughing Gas on Instagram. It comes out July 16th.
Yes.
The ice cream shop.
Yes.
What's
And
your
I like-
favorite? What's your favorite snack after you just smoke up?
Look, they're at arm's length.
Ah, there you go. And
Keep
that-
it healthy,
that's
Joey.
A
Keep
show.
it
That's
healthy.
a show.
For those of you at home, those were Onnit protein bites. What were these?
All the peanut butter ones are delicious.
Peanut butter protein bites.
I think it's 14 grams of proteins. So it's 2 eggs. You get your little chocolate fix and you go
It's
to bed.
2 eggs.
That's
That's
beautiful.
Yeah, you get your little dark chocolate fix and you go to
Oh,
bed.
you're better than me, man.
And if not, you eat an apple to back it up. So when you wake up in the morning, it comes right out of your muffler. Like,
Oh.
boom. You just sneeze, shoot, and it flies out like a missile.
Goosey goosey.
I don't know. I had 3 tacos
That's
the other
it.
night. You don't want to talk about the
Oh
money.
yeah.
No, keep it to
What
yourself.
about fucking Sidney Chestnut? I wonder what his asshole smells like right now.
Oh my God.
76 fucking
76
hot dogs.
hot
He's probably kidneys and fucking
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
Very patriotic. 76. Can you
You think they
imagine
come out
that?
whole?
76
You think they
Get
come
outta
out
here.
whole?
Ah.
What his ass smell like must be a fucking nightmare.
You go behind the stage and you vomit that shit up right away.
You
can't
have
keep
to.
that down.
You have to.
I don't know how he did it, but I love you guys. Stay black.
Joey.
You best motherfuckers. I love you.
Thank you, Joey.
Thanks, Joey.
Stay black.
Hey, Joey.
Rest of your families.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.